Tell me about the multiple hook strategy. You hook multiple business owners. How does that work?
Yeah. So again, when you have someone working 40 hours a week, cold calling and hooking, you fill their time. And so what we'll do is our outreach will be doing a text blast, a batch text blast, 10, 15 at a time to a contractor being like, hey, you do driveways in X city. I need a quote. That's the text. They'll respond. And most likely you'll get 3 to 4 business owners who will respond, right? That's our first outreach touch point. And so our salespeople just call all of them and try to hook all of them. And we're transparent. We're like, hey, we're in a trial here and we're talking to other people and we're going to be sharing these leads with all of them. Since we paid for these leads, we just want you to see the quality. We're not necessarily interested in working exclusively in the trial, is what we say. And then eventually we'll move to exclusivity, but we want to find who the right partner is.
So you do tell them upfront that these are not exclusive, that you're sharing them with other contractors.
If we hook more than one, yes. But sometimes like the girls will just hook one and we'll be off to the races and it's the right fit. But if other people text back in that initial outreach, then why not? And then some markets are big enough. And so this is another little interesting twist. I don't discriminate against markets based on population because Facebook is, in my opinion, a bit more of the Wild West than even Google is, even though I think Google's still wide open for organic SEO. I think Facebook and Meta is even more wide open. So where you might find oversaturation in bigger markets in certain niches in the bigger cities and more SEO competition, there oftentimes are not necessarily meta players there running ads. So I've gone into tons of cities that are filled up organically. And what I'll do is I'll just spin up the Facebook page and essentially rent the Facebook page. You know what I mean? I'll just run ads to that. And what I'm doing is there's no money in the meta game there, but there's tons of money in the SEO game. And so the profit margin's still fine on the meta side.
Yeah.
And so that's why I will hook multiple ones, is because some of these markets are so big that I could sell a site, like let's just say, just called Manhattan Concrete Pros, but then I could probably run the same ad in Queens and just do Queen Concrete Experts and hook 2 different business owners and have plenty of leads coming in those different boroughs, even though they're all kind of in the general area. You can do that in big cities like Atlanta, North Atlanta, South Atlanta. And so suddenly you can subdivide an area and have multiple business owners all getting steady streams of leads and you're doubling your cities. And then once you have them paying, right, you go in, you find your due diligence and find where you can rank a site and eventually transition the brand to that.
So you not only hook them to see which one is the better business owner, but you close both of them too. Like there's plenty of leads for everybody. But sometimes you see that, oh, this guy's a troublemaker. I'm not liking the way he works, but this guy's better. So you just push him out of the way and then work with that.
Yeah, and it's also great in the closing call if they give you the objection of like, hey, give me time to think about it. And Nick addresses this in his course, which is really good. It's like, well, hey man, I'm talking to another guy. I mean, like if you need to think about it, this should be a no-brainer, right? It's kind of like the first thing after you've walked them through it all, but clearly there's most likely either a trust issue or a confidence issue. And you can just leverage the other business owner you're talking to. Be like, hey man, the sense of urgency is here. If you don't sign up with me now, I'm going with this other guy.
Makes sense. And I use that too.
And what's nice too is like even just having someone who's interested in your pipeline that you keep in your CRM of like, hey, if things don't work out with this one guy, even if you're just comfortable, like, hey, let's just go with one. This is pumping. Let's not overcomplicate things and try to segment it. It's like if things don't work out, boom, you got this guy saved in your CRM that you could reach out to replace him easily. We just had somebody cancel in one of my sites last week, and literally that same day on his cancellation, I called somebody and got him replaced.
Nice.
Because they'd just been a warm lead that was interested.
That's the best. That's the best when you find a replacement the same day. And I always make it a point to increase the price just so I can feel better about it. Like sometimes you get sucked into that. When they start complaining about this or that, you're like, oh, I empathize with you. I think you might be right. But then you fire them and then you go work with someone else and you're like, what was he talking about? Look at this guy over here. He's a rock star. He doesn't complain. He just gets to work. So yeah, the business owners can definitely influence you if you're not standing on firm ground. It happened to me so many times where I'm just too patient and too empathetic with people that want to leave and they're not satisfied. I'm like, oh, just give me another week. It's gonna get better. It ebbs and flows, that kind of thing. And you're like, well, why am I bothering with this dude? He's getting 2-3 leads a week and he's not happy. Let me move on to someone else. And then you give those 2-3 leads a week to someone else and they're like, oh my God, this is the best. They all answered my phone. Angie leads never answer my phone calls. They're all pissed off. So
yeah, in short, you're not looking for a niche contractor. Contrary to popular belief, you're looking for a salesman. At the end of the day, that's what you want.
Yeah, you're looking for someone who can close for sure. For sure. I just talked to a gentleman yesterday, and he's a tree guy. He's like, yeah, I'm happy to do. I already buy leads. Send them my way. The only thing is, I wear all the hats. Like I cut the trees, I estimate, I do everything. So if I don't get to them, I'll probably do all the quotes on Friday, and I'm like, ah, I can't do that, man. So yeah, it didn't work. I mean, he can do commercial, he can do all these things, but his sales window is terrible. He's gonna lose people. People are gonna fall through the cracks. You're definitely having like a nice hybrid model, and you're definitely freestyling it and putting a twist on it and pivoting at a certain capacity. Like you see an opportunity, you follow it. You saw that Meta was working, you followed it. You saw that you can hook before actually running the ads, and you delivered on that as well. So yeah, I like that, man. I like that you're tweaking and pivoting, and it's paying off. You're paying less in ads. Good for you, man.